Are you worried about your spouse ripping you off in your divorce proceedings? Have you been asking yourself, is my spouse hiding the real value of the business from me? In a divorce settlement, if you're going to get a fair outcome, a fair resolution, then you need an accurate valuation, because the most significant asset in a marital estate is often the family business. So in order to get a fair valuation, you really do need to work with an experienced valuation expert, one who understands how the family courts handle challenging divorce issues and how to apply established, accepted, appropriate valuation practices. Contour Capital is a boutique forensic services and business valuations firm that's worked on countless family court matters, helping people to get to the bottom of all these issues. Often you have a situation where one spouse knows the business intimately and the other doesn't. That can result in the lack of involvement, meaning they really don't have a feel or an understanding of how the business is travelling and what it is worth. And that, compounded with a sense of distrust, can make it very difficult to reach a financial settlement, because often the view is the business is worth a lot more or a lot less than it really is. So what do you do? Well, the answer is you have to be informed. Don't be an ostrich and bury your head in the sand. Ignorance is very much not a virtue. If you've never been involved in your marital finances before, now is the time to remedy that. Now is the time to get involved. Don't just accept your spouse's financial disclosures at face value. Search the records of your joint holdings and, if necessary, get financial advice from your lawyer or financial advisor. It's critical you do have an experienced divorce attorney on hand to help you spot any issues or challenges where your spouse may be trying to conceal value or money to achieve a better settlement. Some businesses may say that we've only got 2 years contract running, therefore we'll value it on the basis of that contract. It's often tempting to say there's no goodwill in these kind of circumstances, but often that is simply not the case. And that's why an expert valuation is needed, someone that can really understand the business situation and the market circumstances. Of course, businesses can also be used to hide money. If one of the parties retains the business, it can become tricky because they can potentially manipulate their income, sometimes through increased expenses, to dramatically reduce child support payment obligations. And even in those circumstances where a business may not be particularly viable to sell, it can still be a viable asset because it is likely to deliver an income. Business valuations are almost always highly contentious during a divorce. The person who wants to keep the company is incentivized to put a low value on it to minimize the cost to buy out the other spouse's interest. The person who is not keeping the business wants it to be at a high value to maximize the amount of the buyout received. And that's why spouses rarely agree on the value of a business. Now, it can be that businesses go down in value for legitimate reasons, maybe because of a change in macroeconomic circumstances, or emotional and financial burden created by divorce impacting the owner's ability to manage the business and adversely affecting productivity, adversely affecting profitability and employee morale. But often there is also no legitimate reason for the reported financial performance of the business dropping dramatically. Courts are well aware that the profit and loss statements prepared during times of separation and divorce are not always accurate in a small business because of things like personal expenses masquerading as business expenses, discretionary expenses, business perks. The family law court will consider the amount of money the couple or the family took out of the business's income, as well as these other issues. Sometimes it's worth more to the spouse who does not get the business to adjust the value of the business a little lower in exchange for bumping up the income of the spouse in order to increase alimony. The difference in alimony can sometimes more than offset the lower business interest buyout. So it's really important. Do not allow yourself to be ripped off. Do not bury your head in the sand. Look to someone who understands how to dissect and determine the true, accurate value of the business of your spouse, and can provide you impartial, independent advice that you and the court can rely on to make sure that you get fairly treated. So please, if you ever need help, reach out to us here at Contour Capital, and we ask that you make sure that you get a fair deal, because divorce is tough enough without being ripped off in the process. Thank you.